Hello, welcome back to another video. The topic of today's video has been voted for by you over on Patreon, and it's going to be my IBS diagnosis and a little health update. So basically I'm going to split up this video into two parts: my IBS kind of story, diagnosis, treatment situation, and then a more general health update. If you would like to vote for future videos, you can do so by joining on Patreon. I will leave all of those links down below. Also, if you are part of the Foggy Book Club, the live stream to discuss the book that we read throughout June is going to be on the 29th at 4 p.m. GMT. If you don't know, I have fibromyalgia, obviously, and I also have, I don't know why I said obviously, well, I mean, it's the whole theme of my channel, but anyway. And I also have IBS, and a lot of people with fibromyalgia will have IBS symptoms, and sort of you can consider IBS as like a side effect of fibromyalgia, like you can consider a depression and anxiety as a side effect. Our depression and anxiety isn't like diagnosable depression on its own necessarily. It can be, but oftentimes for the majority of us, it will just be like we have depression-like symptoms and then they go away. I have that a lot, and anxiety-like symptoms. I just feel anxious for no reason. I'll feel depressed for no reason, and then I go back to normal. For a lot of people with fibromyalgia, their IBS symptoms are like that. They will have like flare-ups. They will have times, normally when they're flaring, those symptoms will be worse, but the majority of the time, they have some functionality. It's not like super worrisome to the point where they need to seek out specialist help. When I was diagnosed with fibromyalgia, I started learning about it, whatever. I knew that we would have a lot of gastric problems, and honestly I had started to feel very bloated and very uncomfortable, and I would get really sick with certain foods. So I decided to cut out a bunch of foods, including gluten, lactose. I didn't eat corn, I didn't eat a lot of things. And at first I felt a lot better, and whenever I avoided those foods I felt better. So I started this diet maybe like February, and by like June, I had started getting bloating again. I started getting some of those symptoms back, and I also started getting internal bleeding. At first I was kind of like, oh, I'm probably just not eating enough fruit for some reason, or I'm not drinking enough water. And it would go away in a few like days, a week, but it kept coming back. And after like the fourth or fifth time, I was like, okay, this is obviously a problem. I was getting a lot of bloating. My gut would go from in between like really bad diarrhea to like nothing at all, and like I could just tell that something wasn't right. And you know, I still was following that diet, and I just started getting symptoms again, and I was like, but I don't eat anything, like what is wrong? I decided to go to AGI. I basically just booked an appointment in the hospital for like the first person who was available. Straight out the bat, I told her that I had a lot of food restrictions, that I didn't eat a lot of things, and she was like, I don't think your problem is food. What she thought was that it wasn't food related, and that something else was going on, and that she didn't feel like it was either fibro or the food that I was eating. She told me to try and implement slowly everything into my diet. So start eating everything again. So she wanted me to do some tests. So we did a thing. It's like a colonoscopy, but it's not a colonoscopy because a colonoscopy goes all the way into your stomach, I'm pretty sure. And this only goes like halfway through. And with that, we were able to see that I had a lot of lesions and some hemorrhoids, which was fun to find out. And also we did some like echo scans and things like that, and blood work, and basically everything seemed to be fine, normal. After we did all those tests, I came back to her like a month later, and she, put me on a cream for the hemorrhoids. And what else did I do? I was supposed to do milk of magnesia for like, I don't know, a few weeks. And I was also supposed to do probiotics. This is it's called Casin Biotic. I don't know if this brand exists in other places. It's a little bit expensive. It's 28 euros for this little packet, which is for 1 month. And basically it's a month treatment. It is a like food supplement. You take one every day for a month. It tastes like lemon. It's actually really pleasant. And you just put it on your mouth, and it dissolves in your mouth. And 100 million colony forming units. What this does is basically it has the little good gut bacteria that you need in your gut to break down food and to make everything run smoothly, because we realized that was Well, I think with me taking that and then all of my symptoms improving whilst I was on it was really telling of the situation. After I did this treatment and whatever else she had me on, like the creams and everything, I went back and we talked about how I felt and stuff, and that's when she told me, like, you have irritable bowel syndrome. This is going, like, my specific problem with this is that my gut just does not produce this good bacteria, and like for some reason that we don't really understand, it just, even if I'm on this, I still have problems, I still have symptoms, but it helps a lot, like a lot. At that point, we decided that I would be on Casenbiotic, which is the probiotics, every 3 months. So I would take it for a month, 2 months of nothing, then I take it for a month, etc. And also she gave me some supplements and things to help me go to the bathroom when I can't go and to just help me digest. But all of the things that she prescribes and that she has me take are all natural, like food supplements, because she doesn't want me to be taking more medication that is probably going to do more harm than good, and also because more medication could interact in an interesting and unknowing way with my other medication, and it's just like not a good idea to mix things. It was also her belief that the medication that I was on, Lyrica and Flexeril, were also probably contributing to my good gut bacteria being destroyed and like wiped out. And I think like maybe I just always had a hard time like maintaining that good gut bacteria, or like an environment in my gut where that bacteria can thrive. So she's given me like a few things to do with food to help my symptoms, but overall she's of the opinion, and I agree with her, that it's not really related to food, because I could be eating super well and have really bad symptoms. I could be eating like crap and not have any symptoms at all. I went back in February and we talked about how I'd been, and basically every time that I go, I always have things that I want to talk about, and then we like tweak or decide to do different things. I don't remember what we talked about in February because I had a really bad brain fog that day and I like just cannot remember what we talked about. Last Friday I went to see her for my normal checkup, and I told her that I've been experiencing a lot of nausea lately, not so much the last like month or two, but since the beginning of the year I've been experiencing a lot of nausea, a lot of like weird IBS flares where I will have to run to the toilet. Like my life depends on it, because it does, and it makes me feel really unwell. I feel a lot better when I'm on the probiotics, and then the month after it I'm okay, and the month after that I'm like counting back the days until I can take it again because I feel so unwell. What we decided to do on this appointment was to switch up the probiotics, and instead of waiting 2 months to take the next round, doing a round every other month. So 1 month with probiotics, 1 month without, to see how that pans out. And she said that hopefully with that, I will have less of those flares and I will just feel better overall, hopefully. And also the fact that I'm reducing my medication with my rheumatologist, then it should also help with these symptoms subsiding a little bit, because I won't have these like medications ruining all the work that we're doing here. And about my nausea, she thought it sounded like my gallbladder and asked me to keep a nausea/food diary. So whenever I'm nauseous, to write down what food I ate and what sort of like my day. So to see if we can see a pattern, and to see if like we can figure out why it is. And also then we're going to do another echo scan to the abdominal area to just see if everything is okay, just to make sure that if it is or not. And then we're gonna go from there. So I don't really have answers as to the nausea right now. All I know so far that helps is cooling my body down and ginger ale. In terms of my general health and how that's all going, so as I said, with my rheumatologist, I saw her a few weeks ago. I don't remember when. A few weeks ago, beginning of the month. And she gave me a contact for a rheumatologist here so that I don't have to go all the way to where my parents live to see her. And then we talked about reducing my medication, which we're doing. So right now I'm taking the 15 milligrams of Flexeril/cyclobenzaprine every other day. And I take 25 milligrams of Lyrica every day at night. And I was on 50 milligrams before, and now I'm on 25. And in like 6 months, 3 to 6 months from now, I can, if I feel like I'm ready to do that, I can reduce it further to 25 milligrams every other day. But until then, I have to stick with this because she thinks like we should do it as slowly as we possibly can. But everything else in that department like is stable. I feel like my pain is pretty average. I'm doing my water aerobics. It's going well. Like, I don't know. It's okay. But I have a lot of brain fog. That's kind of the thing that I have the most. I have a lot of cognitive dysfunction. Like a lot of days where I just can't think very well, and like at night normally I'm like off, and in the mornings and I just feel really slow, and I'm scared to drive, and all of these things. And you know, I have like my whole left side, especially my left leg, will just like not work sometimes, and I can feel it, but it's just like I have no strength there. All of these weird things. And basically like me and my rheumatologist talked about this, and I was like, I'm really just interested in going to a neurologist just to see if they have any opinions. Like I also have these freaking awful migraines. Like I have them throughout the year, but during the summer it's so much worse, and I don't remember them being this bad last year because I wasn't as strong physically. I didn't notice that the migraines were so debilitating because like my whole body was kind of like not working. So, but now they're just like, and I think they're a little bit worse, but it's just so much pain, and I just can't do anything, and it's really infuriating. And just the brain fog is awful. I forget a lot, I get real confused sometimes, I get sidetracked really easily, and I didn't used to be like this. We decided to just go to a neurologist and see what they had to say. She was not particularly nice, but like not unpleasant, very professional, and she sort of asked, I like talked a lot, I think, and she tested me. Like she got me to like close my eyes and see my balance, which was terrible. Basically, she didn't really give me any answers. She only kind of made me leave with more questions in a way because she didn't really say much. I could tell that she thought that my medication was clearly having an effect, and I think it probably is, which is another reason why I wanted to decrease it. I haven't felt a big difference. Like I've only started decreasing my medication like a week, so I don't know. But she also gave me some new meds to try for my migraines, and we're doing a bunch of testing for everything else. She's also got me doing a bunch of neurological blood work that is apparently supposed to track like what the hell's going on. Another thing that we're doing is the neuropsychological testing. I've mentioned that in my vlogs, which is supposed to determine like my cognitive dysfunction, like the amount of cognitive dysfunction that I have apparently. And another thing that we're going to be doing is an MRI to my brain, and apparently one to like my spine, but when I called in to book it, they said it was going to be of my spinal fluid. So I don't know, but we're gonna do that, and I think we're trying not to find kind of illness that basically makes your nerves deteriorate, makes like the lining of that around your nerves, like the casing of your nerves, like deteriorate, and makes nerve function kind of terrible, which obviously could give you similar symptoms to fibromyalgia. I don't really think that I have any of those because I feel like my symptoms have improved, and I don't know. I feel like they're very in line with fibromyalgia and sort of the experience of fibromyalgia, but they might not be, I don't know. And so it's a confusing time, it's a stressful time for me. I'm struggling a little bit to stay positive and even to not feel like overwhelmed because I have so much to do in order to get all the tests done and like manage all of that. And then at the same time, I have to worry about like my physical well-being, which I'm feeling, you know, because of all the migraines and all of that. I feel like it's just hard, and I feel like I haven't been finding the time to work and do the things that I enjoy and that make me feel good, like making videos and things like that. So I've been finding it really hard to keep up with everything that I want to do. Not so much because of the stress that it's causing me, like that too, but more because like with all the migraines that I get like 2 or 3 like blackout, not doing anything today kind of migraines a week. So it's just been rough. So that's kind of why like my videos have been a little bit spotty and like not as consistent, and that's just like, I don't know, it's just been stressful. I've been trying the medication that she gave me to try, and it made me feel terrible, like I was gonna pass out, like I was gonna throw up, and it was just very, very awful. Like sweats, you know, when you get really hot and you feel really unwell, like that feeling before you pass out, that was kind of what I felt. I felt really, really unwell, like I was gonna be sick, and I basically ended up having to sleep it off. So it's kind of the same thing as having a migraine, so, you know, I feel like I might as well just have the freaking migraine instead of taking that. Yeah, so that's where we're at right now. Another thing that she had me do that I forgot to say is keep a map of my headaches, like track my headaches, which has been very revealing. I think that's it. Man, I wish it was a better update. Like normally I like that my updates are like, I'm doing better. And this one's like, some things are better and some things are just like, When I see her again, I will make a little update just on that. Is if you want to keep up with my health situation, basically Twitter, Instagram, and watching my vlogs, basically. That's it. That's how my health update. I'm sorry if this was a million minutes long. I'm sorry to myself for having to edit this. And also please leave me your questions for a relationships video, because I'm planning on doing one of those, but I would like to have like what you want me to talk about in that video first. My partner will not be part of that video. He doesn't want to be on camera, which we have to respect, but he's happy to give his like point of view and his input into what I will say in the videos. I'm gonna go now. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to leave it a like and a comment, and consider subscribing to my channel if you have not done that already. You can also please ring the bell, because I'm not uploading on a regular schedule right now. So by ringing that, you will always know when I have a new video up. That is all the things that I have to say. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you're having a wonderful day, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!